This is my review of this little Kodak Ektar H35. So this past weekend, we had a trip planned to go meet up with Allie's family in Florida. My brother-in-law is a football coach for Florida State. And not only did we go and see, a football game that he is on the coaching staff for, but this was my first football game to ever see in person. I know. I thought this was a perfect place to test out these cameras. When I first learned about these cameras, I immediately put a pre-order in for them because I just love the idea of having a really kind of cheap, disposable-like camera. We got all 4 colors. This is what it looks like when you first get it. It's in a little Kodak box. It comes with the camera. It comes with this little carrying case that I kind of like. And then a hand strap. It does not come with a battery or film, obviously. All there is to this camera is the film winder and the shutter release, and then just this flash on, and flash off. And of course, the special thing about this camera is that it splits each frame into 2. You end up with 72 images on a 36 exposure roll. This is actually my second one of these black versions. So the first roll of film that I tested on, I loaded the film, I started taking a couple photos, and I was like, ooh, let's put on the flash and use the flash. The flash did not work. And something that is very annoying I bought it through like the Kodak website, and apparently they don't take refunds or exchanges or really exchange your broken camera for free. They make you send it back on your own expense and then they'll replace it. So I was pretty frustrated because I was using a roll of Portra 400, which right now is really hard to come across. So that was a bummer and not a great start for me for this camera. But I stomached the $15 to ship it back, and then they sent me a new one in the mail. And this one works, thankfully. Another thing to note was that I just got AAA batteries from just the convenience store around the corner, and they did not work great. It kind of took a while for the flash to kind of warm up. I'm not even sure if it was like firing at full capacity, but then I eventually found that the AAA, I have like AAA rechargeable batteries, they worked really well. And bring it back up, because the trip that we were on, the AAA battery did not make it through the whole roll of film. So I'm not sure if I just bought a bad case of AAA batteries or what it was. It's a real bummer when the flash does not work on this camera. Just like a disposable camera, there's no way to change the aperture or shutter speed or anything. It's just like you take a photo and that's what happened. And so that's kind of the first thing that I noticed was shooting with Portra 400, you need full sun. You need full sun. Have any type of shade is practically useless on this camera. And you can see this here, and you can see this from the overview of both my roll that I shot and Allie's roll, is that there are some dark photos and then there are some bright photos. There's a pretty clear contrast. And that is pretty much all the really bright photos were shot in full sun at the beach. kind of before I started shooting with it, so I kind of had no idea what I was going into. I was just like, let's try something. I'm sure there's a better type of film that I can use, maybe like 800 or something like that. I don't know. It didn't seem like the flash worked that great, but I'm hoping that it was just that battery issue that I talked about earlier, and if I have a better reliable battery, then the flash will work out better. So a cheap $50 camera, kind of expensive for $50. So to be honest, I'm not super thrilled with it. I think it's a really fun kind of toy to have. Am I going to use it all the time? If I can figure out a better film situation for it, and maybe I can just be better at shooting it in full sun, then I think I'd be really happy with it. But so it's just going to take a little bit more tweaking and a little bit more testing how I can get the full potential out of these cameras. There was some fun shots through the whole weekend, and I'm glad I had it and I'm glad I tested it out. If you got one of these cameras, or you know someone that got them and maybe they had really good luck with it, I would love some help. What film stock should I be using in order to get better photos out of it?